Now, listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great. This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Max World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
3:07 on the 20th day of July in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Is this on? Turn it up. Okay, thank you. If I can't hear myself, that means I've gone deaf. That's the funniest thing I said all day. All right, welcome to Max World on a Wednesday afternoon, and what a Wednesday it is. 93 degrees in the Fairlane today. Tell you what, that Fairlane, it can hardly kick out air conditioning when it's this hot. Just unbelievable. I got those squirrels running in that cage underneath that hood just as fast as they can. Unbelievable. Hot, hot, hot. I hope you're staying cool. If you need a cool place to hang out, you're always welcome to come hang out at the studio.
If they do that, it'll warm up in here, so I don't recommend that.
Why would it warm? Oh, because of body temperature?
Body heat, 400 BTU per hour per person.
There's my scientist. 400 BTU per hour per person. Okay, you're going to have to help me. So BTU is?
British thermal units.
Okay. And how much? So Frank puts out 400 an hour.
Yeah, that's an average.
It's an average. So what would getting Frank? If Frank left? How much cooler would it be in here?
It'd probably drop a degree.
I probably put out 600 an hour.
He probably does.
Just because he's
he's running around.
Just because
I'm
wound up like those squirrels under the hood who are checking out your air conditioning.
All right, we got some fun stuff for you today. Ryan from Harvest Bible Chapel will be in, and we're going to talk about their apologist training that they're doing. We're supposed to have a gentleman by the name of Miss Jeff Durbin come in on the phone. I guess I should say on the phone. And also a young lady who works for an NBC affiliate in New York by the name of Nikki Rudd. And she is at the convention and told me she'd try to call in and tell us what's going on down there. And I know, Frank, you probably have several things.
Oh, yes. I watched the convention.
All right. Well, we'll get to the convention in just a second. First of all, I want to tell you about some thrill seekers who flocked to Adventureland's Monster Roller Coaster this weekend. But the group got a little more frightened than they had anticipated. The new $9 million monster stopped at the top of a 133-foot vertical hill. Now, that's 13 stories. And Adventureland says the coaster was stopped just before the ride's 101-degree drop, part of a safety feature designed to help cars from colliding. Riders say they were left dangling without any information. A car at the bottom of the ride stayed on the back brakes longer than normal instead of advancing into the station. As a safety precaution, the ride automatically stops to prevent the two cars from colliding.
If you watch the fine print in your newspaper, you will routinely see that there are horrific accidents all over the country at these amusement parks, but they always get hushed up through a non-disclosure agreement of a settlement. Because these amusement parks don't want anybody to know these rides are anything less than safe, and most of these rides are very dangerous. I wouldn't get on them if you paid me, but that's me. I'm not a ride thrill-seeking person.
So you wouldn't, if I gave you $1, you wouldn't go on the monster?
No.
$2?
No.
$3?
Not for 1,000.
1,001?
No.
All right, so there's just no. Jeb, would you?
Yeah, I'll take 1,000.
No,
I'll do it.
I said, would you go on the monster ride?
Yeah, I've done it before many times actually. So
On
yeah.
the monster, the new one?
Not the new one, no. The old one, and I've been on the Worlds of Fun, all those rides. So
What we should do is we should get you.
I've been to Universal down in Florida. I mean, they got all kinds of rides out there.
We should get you and hold on, don't tell me. Desiree? What's your girlfriend's name?
Daisha.
We should get you and Daisha on the ride and get you on your cell phone and broadcast live while you and Daisha are going on that ride.
We're going to stream it from the phone?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Stream what? The video or the audio? We'll stream both.
Yeah, how do we do that with the phone?
We could figure it out.
All right.
Okay, seriously.
Did you go to Adventureland in your life?
I have 4 children and 6 grandkids. What do you think the answer to that is?
Did you ever get on the barrel spin?
The barrel spin.
The one that spins in circles and the floor drops out.
Oh, yeah. I love that thing. It's gone now. They took that out.
Couldn't pay me. Could not pay me to get in that ride.
Why?
I got sick as a little kid on a merry-go-round spinning too fast.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have to admit that there was a day in my day when I could go on anything like that. But last 20 years, I don't have it in me anymore.
Yeah, you see a lot of old people on roller coasters and stuff like that. You know that.
You do? Hold on, Frank. Was that sarcastic?
Yes.
Or was that just your way of calling me old?
Well, to young people that take those rides, old is 30 and above.
Yeah, that's true.
The funniest thing I ever saw at Adventureland was the log ride that comes down and splashes in the water.
Yeah.
And let's say there was 4 people, 2 couples in there, and let's just say all 4 was north of 250. And that log ride hit the bottom, and I mean to tell you, it got people wet for a block.
Yeah.
They got rid of that log ride, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's
got
gone.
rid of that and the barrel and one other one, I guess, to put the new roller coaster in. Do they still have the Tornado? Is that what that was out there, the Tornado?
Yeah, the Tornado, Dragon, the Outlaw.
They have all those still?
I don't know. I haven't been out there this year.
Yeah, I haven't been out there, and I don't know how many.
He said this year, so.
Yeah.
What's the one that drops? It's a standing straight up ride or whatever, and it's got a cage and it drops people.
Yeah, I forget the name of that ride. Yeah, they just shoot you up into a tower, then you come falling down back to Earth.
You free fall,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. That one's scary.
Well,
That
what
one
do you
is
mean
scary.
free fall?
You free fall like you'd be falling in an elevator that a cable
They
busted.
shoot you up to the top of the tower, and then you drop all the way down. And they just let you go, and then they got a spring or something that keeps it from hitting the ground.
Wait till that.
See, my tummy hurts just listening to
Wait till
this.
that spring or cable breaks.
Yeah.
No, but I'm serious though, Jeb. You and Daisha, we ought to get you one day, get you a couple tickets and some money to have some fun, and broadcast live, even if it's just the audio, just on the phone. You just call in and we'll put you on the phone, because I want to hear you scream like a little girl. No!
See, I don't scream. You're just going to hear all the kids behind me screaming.
You won't scream?
I won't scream. I mean, if you need me to, I could, but
Will Daisha scream?
she'll probably scream.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then we just want her to scream.
Okay, we can do that.
All right. So anyway, who cares if it got stuck? I mean, stuff happens.
Well, people had to sit in the sun and get sunburn and sweat. I mean, those young kids, they're just not as tough as the old
Yeah,
people.
skin cancer.
Skin
from the
cancer.
sunburns.
See all those things that they have to worry about.
Yeah. Later in life, comes up.
Anyway, so but you don't. Maybe you and what's your brother's name that was in here?
David.
Maybe you and David could go on that together.
I don't think he's much of a thrill seeker on the rides either.
Well, but I'm serious though. I think you should go on it. I mean, Jebediah isn't going to scream. He's not going to care. He's going to ride it. He's going to step off and say, "Yeah, that's all right."
I can remember.
I want to hear Frank the Voice verse Thomas scream like a child.
I can remember a ride at was it Riverview Park down on 6th Avenue, and it was called the Mighty Mouse. And when you were riding this thing, it had those drops like a roller coaster. But when you were going on the rail, it literally looked like before the cart turned to go left or right, it literally looked like that cart was going to go off the ride straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no.
If you remember Riverview, you're old.
I don't remember Riverview.
If you remember Riverview, you're old.
You're old.
I moved here in 77.
Bob, you
78.
remember Riverview?
My wife talked about it.
Well,
So I wasn't here either. Yeah.
All right. Let's move to another story. Iowa Congressman Stephen King said yesterday he has no regrets about again making national news with racially charged comments. King tangled with a commentator on MSNBC Monday who characterized the Republican Party as being dominated by old white people. Now, I want to stop there for a minute. Okay? I'm going to read you this verbatim and tell me who said old white people. The congressman tangled with a commentator on MSNBC Monday who characterized the Republican Party as being dominated by old white people. Did Steve King say that, or did the commentator say that?
Chris Matthews.
Okay, so who started the racial conversation?
Chris Matthews.
Old white.
Just like he started the noise about potentially with Donald Trump about women would have to be punished because of abortion. Chris Matthews is a hatchet job. He's an ambush reporter, and he's always trying to start these controversies. So it wasn't Steve King's fault. It was Chris Matthews' fault, a third-rate reporter looking for a story.
Governor Terry Branstad said this morning the King's comments were inappropriate, but he declined to elaborate, saying, quote, "I just think it's better to leave it there," unquote. See, that's a farm boy. Just leave it there. What do you want me to do with this cow? Just leave it there.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah. The Republican said he was defending white men when he claimed they had contributed more to Western civilization than other subgroups or cultures. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because I'm going to defend Congressman King. If you disagree, I want to hear it. 515-244-0077. Thanks for listening. It's Max World live on 99.3. Yep, it's the truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
"21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21 in the afternoon. I want to thank the staff here at Merle Hay. That rain yesterday really caused us some issues throughout the entire parking lot, building, everything. And we had some leaks in our roof because we're on the top floor.
Right, we're on.
And they did a great job. So I don't know if anybody's listening from the mall, but thank you very much for the job you guys are doing. We've been here a little over a year, and you're great landlords. All right, speaking of great, I'm in the process of purchasing a real estate property. And I got to tell you, Seth is the guy. I know you get tired of me saying this, Matt Olson, but I am working with this guy almost on a daily basis. Almost on a daily basis. And I'm not the easiest guy to work with. I mean, is that okay to say? Pastor Mike says I'm an EGR, extra grace required. I can't imagine that myself, knowing me the way I do. But I can see how other people might. Seth is just awesome. He does get after me a little bit if I get a little snippy with him. Because I forget sometimes that I should treat people more like Jesus does rather than the accuser. But Seth is amazing to work with. And I'm telling you right now, this is a seller's market. You can put your house on the market and you can have it gone, make 7% more on it. You know, if you own a $200,000 house, that's $14,000 in your pocket. That might be worth a moving truck, huh? Seth Walker, 577-3728. All right, 515-244-0077. That's the number that you can call to get on the radio with us today. Or you can talk to us through the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. By the way, breaking news. Guess what's going to be made out of butter this year next to the butter cow? Anybody know?
You talking about at the Anderson Erickson Dairy?
Yeah, no, at the fair.
At the fair? What's the butter thing next to the cow?
Well, they in the last few years, you know, they always did the butter cow.
Yeah.
Well, now in the last few years, they've added something else.
Yeah.
It was Michael Jackson one year. It was Elvis Presley one year. It's going to be the cast of Star Trek.
The whole cast?
Well, I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe just Starship Enterprise.
Wow.
How big is that cow?
Full size.
I think it's a full size.
Oh.
Yeah, usually life size. Obviously, the Starship Enterprise will be a little bit smaller. Anyway, I just thought I'd like you to know that.
Wow.
All right, Iowa Congressman Steve King said Tuesday that he had no regrets about again making national news with racially charged comments. King tangled with what's the guy's name?
Chris Matthews, tingle up my leg. You remember the Obama comment that as a reporter, an unbiased reporter, he talked about the tingle that went up his leg because of Obama's speech.
No, I don't remember that. Anyway, Chris Matthews said on Monday that he characterized the Republican Party of being dominated by old, white people. The Republican said he was defending white men when he claimed they had contributed more to Western civilization than other subgroups or cultures. King said, quote, Google that, old white men, and you'll find that comes out of the mouths of liberals on a daily basis across the country. They're disparaging a group of people, and it's time somebody stood up for that group of people, King said in an interview. King didn't define what he meant by subgroup, but he doubled down on the idea that some cultures are superior to others in terms of contributions to society.
We're talking cultures, not individuals.
King said there's, quote unquote, no culture, no civilization in history of the world that's contributed more to the area of math, science, technology, medicine, or literature. Quote, it's a clear fact that it runs directly contrary to the theory of multiculturalism. That's a big word.
Yeah.
Multiculturalism. Which every culture is equal, he said. And they're not. They're not equal in their contribution. So, I want to find somebody call me and tell me what's wrong with that. First of all, it was Matthews that started the race baiting, old white men. And then King came back and said, well, wait a minute. Those old white men contributed more to science, math, technology, medicine than any other subgroup in Western culture. I don't get where that's wrong. Somebody explain to me why it's wrong.
Well, if it's okay for the black race or whatever race there is wants to brag on themselves and their accomplishments and have some pride in the fact that they're of a certain race, why can't the white man have some pride in his race? Why is it that if the white man says something, we can have a black entertainment network in this country, but if we have a white entertainment network in this country, that would automatically be designated as racist? Why can't the whites celebrate their whiteness without offending someone else?
Okay, why? Why can't we? I'm an old white man. Am I old?
No.
I'm not. Oh,
Not compared to me.
You're only 66 years old.
64. He
keeps making me older every time.
64? Is that what he is?
64.
And Frank, how old are you?
58.
Oh, I'm the youngster in the group.
Yeah, that's why, stop calling yourself an old man. You're insulting
I know.
me.
Jeb is giving me this look like you're the who. Jeb is obviously the vitriol. What's the word I'm trying to get here? Vistrital? Anyway, he's the stud.
Oh.
Jebediah is. But, yeah, okay.
Well, it's this idea. The feminists have this same idea, and now the LBGTQ community has this same idea. And Bob had an actual story on the Christian News yesterday that they're trying to change the history books in California.
Right.
To celebrate more, to take out the contributions of old white men who start wars and replace them with more contributions of, 1, women, and 2, people from the transgendered homosexual community to celebrate their contributions towards history.
Right.
All right.
Correct.
So we're going to, through political correctness, change our history books. Does that sound like something we need to do?
Well, then it's not history.
It's not history.
How can you... Well, whatever.
By the way, somebody sent in a text on the Service Legends Truth text line.
Yes, at 809-0993.
That said it was Chris Hayes and not Chris Matthews.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes,
I don't know.
possibly.
I
Yes,
don't know.
yes. Yeah, it was Chris Hayes. Pardon me.
Okay.
Well, that was nice. Thank you for correcting us. And I don't know if you've ever heard this spiel, but I won't say it very long. But when I owned restaurants, I always appreciated it when people told me the food was good, but I always asked them to make sure they tell me when it's not. So what that texter did right there is the perfect listener. That's exactly the listener I want. That's exactly the listener you want to be. When you hear us say something that you know is incorrect, or maybe you just think it's incorrect, the only person that'll shoot the messenger is Chris Roloff, and he's not here right now. None of us shoot the messenger. See, that comes in age. See, Chris is a young buck, and he gets all feisty if somebody says something about him he doesn't like.
But Chris Matthews was the journalist / reporter who I believe worked for Tom Foley, a staffer for Tom Foley when Tom Foley was the leader of the Congress. It was Chris Matthews that ambushed Donald Trump over the women would have to be punished if abortion was made illegal comment. So, yes, I think the texter is right. It was Chris Hayes.
All right. So, I guess nobody's going to call up and tell me why King was wrong. So how come the liberals find him wrong. Well, I don't understand that. Old white men. Chris Hayes started out by saying the Republican Party is filled with old white men. And he came back and said, well, let me tell you something. Those old white men contributed more in science and education and technology and food and everything else than any other subgroup in the Western culture.
And subgroup would I assume mean minorities? It's not that they're...
No, it could be young white men. It could be young white women.
Well, what I'm saying, it's not making the point that anybody is inferior to white men. It's simply making the point that since white man is the majority of the population, that a subgroup, to me, would be someone who is less in numbers. Not less in intelligence, but less in numbers. Just they're a minority, a subgroup.
So I just thought of something. So Hayes must feel like a subgroup. And that's why he's taking offense by this.
No, he's what Chris Hayes is one of these white guilt apologists that want to apologize for being white, that somehow we have created oppression in the world by slavery. And slavery was a blight on society, but no one alive now is a slaveholder. No one alive now was a slave during the Civil War. So let's move on. But Jeb has a clip that I'd like him to play of I believe he's either second in command of the new Black Panther Party. And this is what Malik Shabazz had to say with Megyn Kelly the other night on the first night of the convention. I want to hear about the last 30 seconds of the clip, if you can crank that up, Jeb.
It's going totally in the wrong direction, and until we get justice, it's not going to be no peace. And until the court system works, it can't be no peace. And until we get reparations and compensation for all the blood that you're spilling of our blood, then Miss Kelly, it cannot be
the
peace.
White people of America.
It cannot be peace. Well, the white power structure, and you're a part of that.
Oh.
You're an important voice.
Okay.
If you would speak up, if you would stop being so hostile to our position,
I'm not hostile to
you
anybody.
recognize that Black Lives Matter.
We have a lot of folks from Black Lives Matter in the program, but they don't always take antagonistic positions when it comes to white people.
So basically, there's where we're at in this country, is we're still fighting in 2016 over the Civil War and reparations for slavery, and this is what's going to drive a wedge right down the center of this country. So there's nothing to see here, in my opinion, with the Steve King comments. Nothing to see. Let's move on.
Here, Bob, well, you don't watch the news, though, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? Okay, because you're probably the most impartial person in the room right now. Do the other side, do we do that too? I mean, do we? And I really want to know an answer. Are we just as bad as the other side, but we just don't see it because we think we're right? Do we do this kind of stuff?
What kind of stuff are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I think this thing that Chris Hayes did is I think, first of all, I think it's fake. Okay. Mm-hmm. In other words, there's nothing wrong with what King said. It was Hayes that brought up old white men, so he brings race into the conversation. Do we do that with the liberals? Do we I mean, I call them low information voters. Is that just as bad as what they're doing here?
Well, I don't know if it's just as bad. We're not trying to bring about a specific answer that we're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not leading the witness
to
try to get, it's a court term that we use, to try to get a certain answer that you believe the person will say. So I don't see that. We have like open-ended questions. Blah, blah, blah. What's the answer? Instead of closed.
All right, well, I don't know. We'll come back with this. If anybody's got any comment on it, let us know. Coming up next hour, Ryan from Harvest Bible Chapel will be in, and also a reporter from the floor of the Republican convention on the radio.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer. I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the service manager.
Marketing director and client relations manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top, and then we'll be back next hour with Ryan Jorgensen, Pastor Ryan Jorgensen from Harvest Bible Chapel, and hopefully some guests on the phone. That's our plan for the day. Hey, we have somebody new on the radio station that I want to introduce you to. Remember how Johnny Carson used to introduce you to new sponsors? Well, that's kind of what I'm doing. Golden Heart Senior Care of Des Moines. Golden Heart Senior Care of Des Moines. You have heard on this radio station a young man by the name of Steven Seagal. And it's not the actor, obviously. Well, he and his family have started Golden Heart Senior Care, and it is a they can come into your house in for like 15 minutes and help. They have companionship and homemaking, so you just want somebody to come in and companion and conversation, maybe walking, making sure medications are okay, escort to appointments. And then they have personal care, includes oral care, monitoring of vital signs, feeding, positioning, passive range of motion, shaving, that kind of stuff. Anything you need in home care for senior care, they can do. And I'd like you to consider calling Stephen and his wife and his mother. His mother's awesome. Boy, she's a neat lady. Calling these folks and sit down and find out if this is something you're looking to do. If you need caregivers, they are all carefully screened, all carefully trained, all bonded, insured, and supervised. So how do you get a hold of them? GoldenHeartDesMoines.com. GoldenHeartDesMoines.com. Obviously, there's a phone number.
I've got it. I've got it here. 515-218 1534.
How do you have it?
I have the website.
Oh, okay. So Golden Heart Des Moines Des Moines.com. If you need some health care, in-home health care, or visiting or anything like that, for heaven's sakes, call Stephen. Good Christian man. First time I met him here at the office, he recognized that I was under a little stress for something. I don't know. Is it obvious, Frank, when I'm...
Hey, Mac.
Yeah.
We have Nikki Rudd on the line. She only has 2 minutes.
Oh, she has 2 minutes. All right, let's go to the phone. Nikki, how are you?
I'm well.
And you are in Cleveland at the Republican convention.
Yes, I'm here, and right now Chris Jansen is playing. He's rehearsing for tonight, so it's a little loud.
All right. Well, what can you tell me is going on there? What are you finding interesting, and what have you found out that's kind of goofy?
Well, the weirdest thing I saw was a man walking around with another man that he was acting like it was his dog, and said, "Kick my dog for Trump." That's probably the weirdest thing I've seen. But what's interesting, and especially from my point of view, I was concerned about security coming here. I'm from Des Moines. I grew up in Des Moines. I'm used to my nice people.
Yeah.
And coming here, I was concerned about security with everything that's going on in the world. And I got to tell you, there are 5,500 members of law enforcement here. Everywhere I turn, I see a policeman, a deputy, a trooper, and I have not seen any violence. It's just that I felt very comfortable.
How about protesters outside or anything like that?
So inside the arena, protesters are not allowed. But outside, obviously, in downtown Cleveland, there are protesters. But here's something that's interesting. I would say there's more law enforcement and media than there are actual protesters.
Wow. So what happens there during the day? Because obviously it's not televised.
Yeah, so the session doesn't start until 7 o'clock tonight. So right now they're doing rehearsals with the bands. The lady who's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner tonight is practice. So they're going through mic checks, checking out the equipment, and the session itself starts at 7. Tonight we're going to hear from some big wigs. It's interesting because Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio will be speaking tonight, and I'm guessing they're not going to introduce them as Lying Ted and Little Marco.
Right.
So Mike Pence is the big speaker along with Newt Gingrich.
All right. So tell me what the big deal with the Iowa walkout was.
The Iowa walkout?
Yeah, the delegates from the Iowa delegation all walked out on Monday.
Okay, I wasn't able to be here for the entire thing. I know that what was going down, some people wanted to unbind the votes for the delegates, that the delegates could vote for someone other than Donald Trump. Well, according to the rules, it's way too late for that. So there was a little chaos on the floor here, but it all settled down, and everyone's saying that for the Republicans here, they need to unite behind Donald Trump.
Okay. All right. So, Lion Ted and Little Marco will be speaking tonight. Who got the big applause last night? It kind of looked like Don Jr. did.
Oh, huge. I would say he was the fan favorite. A lot of people enjoyed Chris Christie as well. The one thing that I noticed, people seem to be slamming Hillary instead of talking about what's best about Trump. So that's what I'm looking to see moving forward, is to say, okay, give me a case for Trump instead of just dissing Hillary.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. Frank, do you have a question for Nikki?
What's the theme tonight? I noticed the theme last night was supposed to be about the economy, making us strong again, but they kind of deviated from that. What's the theme tonight?
Yeah, last night or yesterday was Make America Work Again. Tonight is Make America First Again. And then, of course, tomorrow, Make America Great Again.
And Trump determined all that, or did they tell Trump what it was?
It's his whole campaign just decide what goes on here. So, of course, I'm sure they're working with the GOP, but Trump's calling the shots.
Okay. Well, I know we only have you for a couple of minutes, and I want to thank you. And I remember this now. I have to tell you, I didn't remember until you must have said something to Jill. But you and I worked together 20 years ago.
Yes, I was 16, 17 years old, and you you let me intern at a station there in town, an alternative rock station.
Yeah, 107.5.
Yes. So that was my start. You gave me my start in my career. I've been in Rochester, New York now 12 years. And before that, I worked in Rochester, Minnesota for the NBC affiliate.
All right. Well, was it fun? Was it a fun place to be?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we had a blast. And you were a great boss.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, congratulations on your success. Do you ever get back here?
Oh, yeah. My parents still live there. They're in Pleasant Hill now.
All right. Well, do me a favor. When you come back next time, let me know, and I'll give you a tour of my new radio station up here, or our new radio station down here. And I'd love to hook up with you again.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mac.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. That's Nikki Rudd. And I believe that's her. I believe that's her maiden name. I mean, I believe that's who she was, and her parents live in Pleasant Hill. And I did not know this. It's funny because Jill knows her. My assistant, Jill King, knows her, and says that, "Hey, I know. Do you remember this gal by the name of Nikki Rudd?" And I said, "No, I don't." And there was something about her name, so she would have interned for me 18 years ago. No, wait a minute, 22 years ago. Yeah. 94, 95, 96, right in there. And now she's an NBC affiliate reporter in Rochester, New York.
Now you're launching careers.
Well, you know what I've done, Frank? Well, you're proof of it.
Well, okay. You launched another.
Bob is proof of it.
Bob, you launched several careers.
Well, what I love to do is I love to find people who have great talent, but they lack the skill. And so the skill is the easy.
Go ahead.
The skill is the easiest thing to teach about radio, but you got to have natural talent. And guys like Amy Sweet and Eddie Hatfield and just other people that have come into my life over the years and done a wonderful job.
And Don Jr. was saying last night that Donald Trump has that same characteristic of finding talent in people and people who are passionate and helping them up the corporate ladder.
Yeah. Yep. That's fun to do. That's a fun thing to do. All right, we're going to take a break. That was Nikki. Glad she had the time to call in. And next hour, we'll have Pastor Ryan Jorgensen from Harvest Bible Chapel, and hopefully Jeff Durbin, a guy coming to town to teach an apologetics weekend. We'll talk about that next hour as we're live here on the app, worldwide app, The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3:50, 10 minutes before the top of the hour Salem Radio Network News. And then as we continue, We'll have Pastor Ryan Jorgensen from Harvest Bible Chapel, and hopefully Jeff Durbin, who is a gentleman that's coming in, I believe, for an apologetics conference at Harvest Bible Chapel, and he should be on the phone so we can talk about apologetics.
Did you get a chance to hear Ben Carson speak last night?
No.
Well, there was a little mini controversy about Ben Carson's comments. Obviously, he said, political correctness is killing the country. He's proud to support Donald Trump. And he made a point that Hillary has been outed on before, that her college thesis, her college paper, was over Saul Alinsky, the radical socialist, whatever you want to call him. And so that was Hillary's hero in college. And he made the sub point to that in Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, that one of Alinsky's heroes is Lucifer. So, of course, Rachel Maddow and the typical liberal left-wing media wanted to jump on that and make fun with their air quotes. Oh, well, what did you think about that? And a quote-unquote conservative rhino, S.E. Cupp, said, well, I can no longer respect Ben Carson because of those comments. I said, well, you didn't respect Ben Carson to start with, because Ben Carson is now guilty by guilt of association because S.E. Cupp doesn't support Donald Trump. So it's going around that Ben Carson accused Hillary of being Satan, when he did not. He simply said that Saul Alinsky's hero was Lucifer. And that's in Saul Alinsky's book.
Boy, I don't...
And did you hear the case that Chris Christie prosecuted against Hillary Clinton? That is worth going back and watching.
No.
He went through methodically of all the countries that she had effect over while she was Secretary of State, and showed the positions that those countries were in when she took office and how she left them. And he had the crowd chanting, guilty or not guilty. Of course, the crowd, being a partisan crowd, chanted guilty each and every time, and which would break out once in a while with the chant of lock her up, lock her up, lock her up.
So he kind of documented how she screwed up the country?
Yes, he absolutely documented from Iran to Cuba to Benghazi, went through to Russia, went through the litany of countries that she affected at her time as Secretary of State, and how each one of these countries ended up in a worse position, and our country ended up in a worse position after she got done messing it up. And, of course, Hillary Clinton retaliated with a comment that it was so predictable it wasn't even, it was so predictable it was predictable. Because I knew it before she said it, that they would make a jab at him closing down the bridge. Well, anybody that believes this, I've got a bridge to sell you, or something, which was the kind of the funny quote.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But put one bridge closing alongside the 10 or 12 countries that Chris Christie made a point and went through them methodically. Compare that to the 12 countries she screwed up, and there's no comparison.
I guess I should be paying more attention. So does your mother let you stay up that late? Because doesn't it go till midnight or something?
It goes late.
Yeah, it goes to about 11 o'clock it goes to about 10 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, it's got to be longer than 10 o'clock.
I think it's longer than 10.
Yeah, well, the news comes on, the Channel 8, 13, 6, and 5 news comes on at 10 o'clock. So it's all... They try to get it over by the local news time so it can be reported on. Now the after show, the after show stuff, the post game show, so to speak, goes on till 11 to midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning. But I think the convention is generally over, and supposedly they got a pat on the back last night because they finished on time.
Okay, well, let me see. I'm trying to look that up.
All right, you check that out, and we'll continue. All right. I have the best listeners in the world. I challenge them to call me up and tell me that Congressman Steve King was wrong in what he said, and no one can challenge it. And Rekha Basu today, her article in the newspaper was just nuts. Absolutely nuts.
What did she say?
Well, it was on this and talked about I think she asked the question, who besides old white men contributed to the culture in the Western civilization? And, of course, all of her liberal friends come back with, all these answers. And I don't know. It's just getting so mean out there, and I hope it's going to change. I hope after Trump's in the office, I just hope everything calms down. And we just quit fighting with each other, and we quit beating each other up, and we quit being so unfair to each other.
So is that your prediction?
What?
You said when Trump's in office.
That's my prayer. I mean, I don't have a prediction. I don't know. I mean, we were talking with Craig Robinson yesterday with Tom Coates, and Craig thinks it could be landslide. I mean, he just doesn't think there are any Hillary supporters out there. Or there are supporters, I'm sorry, but there's not enough to take her over the win. And, I have to admit, when I drive around in Des Moines before the caucuses and stuff, for every one Hillary sign, you'd see 10 Bernie signs. Now, obviously, those Bernie people are probably going to go and vote for Trump, vote for Hillary. But I just don't. And see, here's another question, Bob. Kind of the same kind of question. So, am I being unbiased? Am I being too unbiased? No, that's not the question.
Partisan,
too biased, or
yeah. When I say that Hillary's a crook and Trump's just fine.
Well, you have to look at the evidence. I'm a crime scene guy.
Yeah.
So you got to see what evidence is out there, and I haven't seen a whole lot of evidence produced against Trump as being, lying, cheating, and corrupt and that.
Yeah. Frank?
I would make a prediction here now that this election is going to go one of two ways. Hillary will either win it in a very close squeaker, but if Trump wins it, I think it will be of landslide proportions.
Well, we'll wait and see. And obviously, you'll hear it right here on 99.3. Next hour, one of my favorite pastors is in, Pastor Ryan Jorgensen from Harvest Bible Chapel. They took over the Gortz House this past year, and they planted 3 years ago. And then they got their own church, and they're just spectacular people. Ryan is just salt of the earth. And he's going to come in, and we're going to talk about some theological questions and ideas and some apologetics. I think he's got a special guest on the phone joining us. Anyway, that's coming up when Pastor Ryan Jorgensen is in here next hour. We'll have a complete wrap-up of the news at 4 o'clock, and I look forward to having you sit right here beside me. Anytime you want, you are always welcome to come up here to the studios. We have plenty of room. Bring your 400 BTUs, and let's get it hot. Get it hot in here. How about that? Okay, I'm coming back. J. Michael McCoy along with Frank the Verse Thomas, Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat watching the chat, and Jebediah. And you're the most important person in the room right here on The Truth.